Fellas, the women with the personalities that you like are all fat. So just get one and take her to the gym. Fellas,
Hey yo, e aí, Preto hermano. Now in this one, this one is funny, right? But I've been talked about this, and this is something I spotted early on. This is why this is why I can make the content and I can really go crazy because I caught on to all of this stuff as a teenager. I've been hip to the game. This is why I come back to the channel and I try to help you black men out because it seems like black men, you're either oblivious, either you ignore the fact that, this stuff is right in your face. But I understand that ignorance is bliss. And again, when you don't know, you're having the most fun, what I'm saying, possible. When you're ignorant to the truth, you're having the most fun possible. But here's the reality behind it. What she talked about is the fact that the women that have the personality that you would be compatible with, a female that would pretty much be under your wing, you lead, you protect, you feel me? She's down to let you, call the shots, make the final decision. Everything that you would probably like in a personality type, it's attached to a fat black woman. See, the reason why it's attached to a fat black woman and not an attractive black woman is because within the dynamic they created between black men and black women, for whatever reason, the more unattractive and the more fat a woman is, you know, I guess it's a signifier to them to be more compatible and be more cooperable with a man. Hence why you always see women who are on the bigger side, even if it may not be a long term situation, she always has a man. Same way with the attractive woman, she always has a man, but she's running through a cycle of guys. Whereas the chick who is on the bigger side, I've always noticed that black men, you tend to have, these long term relationships. Why do you think that even when black men you come home from prison, and not the guys I make content for, right? Not 10%, but the black men who do come home from prison, why do you think that they're always able to get with the chick and he can use her crib as an address, what I'm saying, to parole to? And it's always a big woman because why? For whatever reason, black women structured it like this. And it goes to show, listen, they love that plantation love. They love that nigga mind. They love that nigga mindset. They have an anaconda grip on that matriarch and they will not let go because that matriarch, it benefits them black men. And because black men don't want to set a standard, black men are so desperate for pussy. And do I believe every dude is desperate for pussy? No. But one thing about it, black women raise black men to be simps. So that's the ultimate problem behind all of it is that the average black man, listen, let's keep it a stack, dude. They are simps. 65% simp. 25% Glocktavius, simp. 10%, listen, if you were a simp, you woke up early. Like I said, I spotted everything about the community early. Let's talk about it. See, the way how they structured the dynamic between us and them, at a lower threshold of beauty, you encounter the attitude, right? So at a three, what do I consider threes to be? Anything that's big. If you're big, automatically, don't matter if your voice is soft, don't matter if you have decent bone structure underneath all the fat, doesn't matter, dude. You're still Big John and you're number three. You're still a Big John and you're a 3 out of 10. Now, at a 3 out of 10, you start to encounter bad attitudes. Even though most big women are, fairly nice, at a lower threshold of a three, you encounter the attitude. As you go up to a five, to a seven, the attitude gets even worse. And again, average females act like they're baddies. Chopped work act like they're average. Big work act like they're average. It's crazy, but within that dynamic, black men, you've been accustomed to just accepting low quality. That's why I told dudes in one video, listen, guys usually aim for what they want. So if what you want is a 10, because of how things are structured, you drop down to a 9. Again, you still can't get what you want. You go down to an 8. Still can't get what you want. You go down to a 7. Listen, you're getting swept up under the rug. You go down to a 6. You go down to a 5, to a 4, to a 3, because the way how they have things structured, if you're not Glocktavius, if you're not Tyrone, right, it just keeps on going lower and lower and lower because black men, you feel like, yo, something is better than nothing. And you can even picture it, and you can even see it if you ever use any of the dating apps. Think about, listen, Tinder, Bumble, BLK, Hinge, doesn't matter which app. On those apps, the big girls are always on go. Green light, dude. They down to link first. Listen, first day of you guys matching on the app, she's down to link. She probably wants to smash. You know what I'm saying? She might even come and pick you up. It's funny, but they know that it's structured like that. You feel me? And you as a black man, this goes right here for 10%, even 65% simp. When you accept them at that low quality, what you're doing is boosting her self-esteem. That's why the community is so bad, because at a lower threshold, dudes encounter that attitude. So from a 3, from a 4 to a 5, you get attitude, you get talked down to, you get disrespect because the balance is out of whack, dude. It's really out of whack. Females that shouldn't be acting the way they act, it's crazy. But if you notice something, when black men decide to date non-black women, and let's say she's a 5 out of 10, maybe even a 4 out of 10, there's a reason why. Listen, those females are always more cooperable, ready to be under a man's leadership and guidance and all that stuff. Because why? In these other communities, men set a standard. If you don't fit whatever that standard is, listen, you pretty much have to be that way. The way how black women structure it, listen, if you're not Glocktavius, you don't get access to the higher tier black women. That's one thing I've noticed, right? In the places where you have a high population of black people, anywhere on the East Coast, up north, down south, it doesn't matter. I've noticed that because black women have to compete against each other, the standard is set up differently. That's why I told you, black men, you have to go somewhere where you actually have an option, right? Because amongst each other, I guess it's a part of the matriarch that the fat black women, you have to accept all the men that the higher tier black women don't want, aka, the average dude, 10%, 65%. And I'm like, okay, it's funny how they can set that standard, but black men, where's your standard at? All because you think, oh man, I got to bust. Yo, come on, son. That's not that important. And again, that's why the community is out of control, because there is no standard. You feel me? And then she's talking about take the female to the gym. See, by the time you invest all that time, that effort, the money, because again, losing weight isn't the easiest thing. Sculpting a body is not the easiest thing. It's going to take money, time, and a whole lot of effort. So, after all that investing, you don't think that same woman that you just helped lose 150 pounds, 120 pounds, even just 100 pounds, you don't think she's going to turn around and shoot her shot at men that was turning her down because she was fat? The men that had the standard to not accept her. Listen, that's how women's mind work. You accepted her at her lowest, so guess what? You don't deserve her best. And we already know, listen, when it comes to them, they're going to stand on that. I have never seen a dude who invested all that time and energy into one of them, again, to help them lose weight, and she didn't move on with a new dude. Listen, we all know about dudes, girl getting smashed by the trainer. Because guess what? As a black man, you probably don't even have the time to train her yourself. you know, it's funny that, again, in this matriarch, it's set up a way where, listen, They already know, black men. I'm telling you, they already know. When they look at you, why do you think? Listen, if you guys remember that one video clip of that one black dude where the black woman told him, "You look like you don't date black women." How does not dating black women have a look to itself? It's because if you're not Glocktavius, if you're not Tyrone, you have to accept low quality. But again, they already know the dude because they're judging you off your looks. They feel like if his nose look like this, if his eyes look like this, if his ears look like this, if his hairline look like this, if his height is this tall, like whatever, you know what I'm saying? They already know. Listen, if you're not Glocktavius, you're relegated towards the bottom, and you have to accept low quality. But they know which dudes who won't accept low quality because based off your look, you're the kind of guy who won't even take low quality. You'll just go to a different race and accept somebody else. Why do you think those videos talking about if I see a black man with a white woman, he has deep self hate? Shut the fuck up, bitch. Yo, when you see a black man with a fat black woman, that's because that nigga don't have no standard. He has no standard. He accepts low quality and he accepts disrespect coming all the way from the top. It's a trickle down effect. You think those same low tier fat black women respect and love those black men who they getting? Yo, come on, dude. She knows you was relegated towards the bottom. But again, this is something that I guess black men you don't want to accept. And again, we see the dynamic, dude. You go on any dating app, the fat chicks are going. The fat chicks are down for all the freaky stuff. The fat chicks are ready for you to pull up at 2 a.m. in the morning. You just match with her. You only sent 5 to 10 messages, and she's ready for you to come over and crack. Keep it a stack. You dudes are not cracking 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, even a 6. You dudes are not cracking sixes off the apps. First match, first 10 messages. The fat ones are always ready to go within the first 1 to 2 days. 3 out of 10, she's going. 2 out of 10, she's going. 4 out of 10, she's going. Keep it a stack, dude. And like I said, the bigger she is, the more chopped she is, the more compatible she is with the man. And again, it goes to show at that lower beauty threshold, you get the attitude, but you might get some cooperability from it. But then as you go up, okay, she might look better, and guess what? She's not going to be compatible with any man. She wants to control everything. She wants the matriarch. Listen, in the highest effect, it's just nasty work. Anyways, black man, it seems like one thing about it, and the reason why this is the community, and this is the reason why the community is so out of balance because black men, you refuse to set the standard. And I'm not sure. And at this point, I just believe black men, you are sadomasochists. You feel me? 65% simp, 25% Glock tape. I mean, it's really the simps. 10% you're not accepting this. We already know what's good. Like I said, I spotted this early on. This is why I can make the content and it's so good because from a teenager, I've been able to pinpoint certain things, dude. I'm gonna tell one last story, right? Even when I was in high school, right? I remember it was this one female, right? She was going to a different school around the way. And listen, as far as like the personality, yo, she was cool. Soft voice, right? Me and her were compatible. We had the chemistry. Mindset was similar until one of my guys told me, like, listen, oh, you talking to so and so from over here, right? Yo, you know she's big. Mind you, I'm a skinny dude. Everybody knew I don't date big women. Yo, when he told me that Shorty was a big joint, I'm like, yo, I gotta drop you. And I remember going on FaceTime, trying to get her to get on the phone with me. You know what I'm saying? She didn't want to show her whole body, only want to show pictures from the neck up. I'm like, yo, come on. You're not even proud to be big. So look, even those same females, who got this big, terrible shape, but a nice personality, yo, even those same females, they know for a fact that, listen, you could have got anything better. They know for a fact you could have chose better. That's why I'm telling you, dudes, when you choose them, you're upping their self-esteem and you're helping the matriarch, dude. You support the matriarch when you're a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 dude. But because they want you to go and mess with these low quality big joints, that's why the matriarch is, you know what I'm saying? It has such control. If black men just say, yo, listen, we not taking nothing low quality, yo, it would be, it would self correct itself. But for whatever reason, I think black men, you are sadomasochists. You love the hurt, you love the pain, and you're addicted to taking L's. But it is what it is. I'm out. Peace. Oh wait, and let me point something out real quick, right? In the black community, the fact that the majority of women, whether she's on a slim, thick side, right? The fact that the majority of women in our community are either overweight and or obese. Think about it. The females that are actually, slim, thick. She's thick with a great shape. She's not big stomach and all that other kind of stuff, pouch, right? Fact that those women have those kind of builds, and the majority of the women in our community are overweight and or obese. Why do you think the attitude is at that level? Because at a lower threshold of beauty, listen, those attitudes, that's when they come alive. And because the females know that, listen, the majority of us within the group are fat. Listen, the ones who aren't fat, it's like it's almost a pass for them to behave the way they behave and have the demands that they want. Because guess what? If you don't like it over here with us, you can go and get you a fat, unattractive, compatible black woman. You can go and get one of those. And that's the fact that the majority of them are like that. That's why it's such a lottery ticket when it comes to trying to find a higher tier black woman, because guess what? You pretty much don't even have access to them. And if you want access to them, if you do have access to them, it comes with extraction.